Don't make me cry. Shut up. Jerk. Dumbass.
Thank you very much. I'm going to stick around for a while.
He's making me cry. I'm going to kick his ass. Stop. Ugh. I don't even have a tissue. I probably got snot and sweat on my upper lip.
You can use my shirt.
Hey guys. I wanted to do a video to answer a lot of questions. We keep getting questions on Gary's health because Joe has been doing vlogs with me instead of Gary, and the channel was actually started because of Gary, but because of COVID and his lack of an immune system, we've distanced him from virtually everything for about the last year. So, but anyhow, I wanted to give everybody an update and let everyone know how he's doing. And for those of you who are newer to the channel, kind of give you an idea as to why I even started the channel. But about 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, Gary got incredibly sick, and we just thought that he had a simple flu. Flu was going around, the hospital was full. Long story short, after a week stay, well, you were actually sick at home for a week before he went in the hospital, and they admitted him locally, couldn't figure out what was wrong, transferred him to a major hospital, and then finally sent the test results off to Mayo, and ultimately found that he has a disease called primary biliary cholangitis. It's an autoimmune disease. It attacks your liver. So his liver is only functioning on, they say 10 to 20%.
They said the liver was attacking itself, from what I understood in the beginning of it. So
they took out his gallbladder because his body could not process iron. Part of the disease, I don't fully understand it. I'm not a medical professional. I'm explaining it the best that I understand. So I could be incorrect on some of the things, and I apologize for that. I'm just doing the best that I know how with the way that I'm understanding it. But his gallbladder was attacking his liver. They had to take his gallbladder out. Over the course of 2 weeks in the hospital, he went from about 175 pounds to about 145 pounds.
141 pounds.
So he literally came home from the hospital wearing my clothes. He was skeletal when he come home from the hospital. He was using a walker, and at the time in the hospital when they diagnosed him, they said, primary biliary cholangitis is cirrhosis of your liver. And I said, well, that must be wrong. You've got the wrong results, because he's never drank alcohol in his life. He's never done drugs. He eats right. He exercises. He's very active. They said people mistake cirrhosis as always being a disease that's caused by alcohol, but it's not. His is an autoimmune disease. And so he was put on the liver transplant list, but we didn't really know a whole lot about that in the beginning. Ultimately, he has responded well to treatment. And in the beginning, they said he might have 2 years. And we are now over 3 years, so we celebrate every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day you wake up and it's just another start. You just keep moving. So,
When Gary, having to contact your family and tell them the diagnosis when we finally knew it was wrong, and tell them all this information, maybe been the hardest thing that I had to do in my life. And then the day that he went into cardiac arrest, while he was having a simple procedure done, it was supposed to take no more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, just to take out a stent.
They had to put in a stent because the sepsis they found was caused when the gallbladder was taken out. There was a slight leak, and they did the dye test numerous times, and it turned nothing. And so they thought that they had gotten everything. Well, when he was transferred to the large hospital, and he had sepsis at that time, and we wasn't sure if he was going to make it, they said the only thing it could possibly be was from that gallbladder being removed. Well, they did the dye test multiple times and did not find a leak either. But he said it had to be that. There was no other reason for you to have sepsis and have that much in your body, all that blood and stuff that was in your body. So he put a stent in, and it stopped everything, and the infection went away, and then it was shortly after that we got the real diagnosis.
Yeah.
But so he had to have the stent removed because your body will reject it. And so when we went in to get the stent removed, it was like, I think it was supposed to be something like a 10 or 15 minute surgery.
Yeah, that's what they said, about 10
outpatient.
minutes.
And as they started intubating him, he went into cardiac arrest. So, yeah.
Yeah. We won't say what happened, but
Hearing code blue, yeah. And then having to make those phone calls to his entire family.
it had nothing to do with my disease. There's just a anesthetic was wrong. And they jumped on me right away. They saw it happening, and they got me back.
Flipped him over on the table and started CPR.
And they got me back real quick, as I understand.
He flatlined, and
Yeah.
so they had to do chest compressions, broke his ribs.
Yeah, I was pretty ticked off on that one.
You're a hot mess.
Do I look like a hot mess?
He's a hot mess.
Did I say a hot mess?
Gosh, no tissue, and I'm all like teary-eyed
You can
and
use
stuff.
take a sock off. Do you want me to?
Your life changes when you've been handed basically a death sentence.
Yeah.
They said don't look at it as a death sentence, and maybe from their standpoint, I can understand what they're saying. From Gary's standpoint, I can understand how he feels, and I know how I feel about it. It was horrendous for anybody to go through. We've had a lot of people reach out to us on the channel because of your illness, because there's so little information out there as to how you deal with this and do you survive it. And when you're handed this diagnosis, you don't know exactly what that means. I know we didn't. I had no clue. I just kept researching all the time, just kept researching. But the reason why I started my YouTube channel was not for monetization, was not for fame or anything like that. The reason why I started the channel was because I thought it would be really good for one thing, bring awareness to other people who are dealing with the same issue and make people aware that you can still have a pretty good life.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of that's dependent on each person's individual needs and also their medical team. We've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
But also the fact that in the beginning we didn't know how long he actually had. And being told he might have 2 years, when we were told that, I looked at Gary, and Gary just had a straight expression on his face. He never really reacted at all. And I thought, well, that's really bad if a person does not have a reaction. You know, he wasn't mad, he wasn't sad, he didn't respond at all, he just stared. And so I thought, well, that's a time bomb. And I was concerned about what his emotional state would be when he got home, but it was a long time before he went home.
It was quite a while.
It was a long time. Gary came and lived with me.
Yep.
And for about 2 months after he got home from the hospital, because he literally could not stand without a walker when we came home.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to take care of myself, cooking, and things like that.
Your own brother, when
Yeah.
I was on my way home, I thought, I can't even get him up my stairs. I don't know what to do. Joe was in a leg brace that went clear down to his ankles because he had just tore his patella tendon. So my house looked like the geriatric ward.
Yeah.
And I had just lost my English bulldog of 14 years. So it was a hell of a month.
It was pretty crazy. Yep. That,
Yeah.
you had a lot on your plate, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That plate was getting full.
That got so crazy.
I drive you crazy anyway.
But over the course of time, he never really reacted. And I even said to his daughter, I said, I'm fearful because he's not throwing a fit. He's not getting mad. He's not screaming. He's not nothing. He didn't do anything. And I said, I'm afraid for how he's going to be once he gets home. And she said, well, I don't think you would ever have to worry about him hurting himself, if that's what you mean. I said, well, that's exactly what I mean. But the more we thought about it, and I talked to him and I said, you know, if there is that possibility that you only have maybe 2 years left if treatment doesn't work, I said, why don't we do something crazy? Joe suggested that we go to, he said, just book a Disney vacation. It's Gary's happiest place on earth. Literally, Gary's life changed in the blink of an eye. He was 64 and a half years old, almost 65, real close.
Yeah, real close.
And, you know, most people look forward to retirement, and he was wondering if he was going to make it. And in fact, we didn't think he was going to, actually. He ended up with sepsis. There was a lot going on. But Joe said, book a Disney vacation, because he'll have something to look forward to. It will take his mind off what he's going through right now and give him something to look forward to tomorrow. So that's what I did. So then after that, and I thought, well, you know, we booked that and that was kind of fun. Well, maybe we should do little videos so that we've got some content for his family in case he didn't make it, because we didn't know. And so then I thought, well, what's going to be the easiest format to actually post videos? And I thought, well, YouTube, why not? I can create videos, and I just started very basic. I still feel like my videos are fairly basic, although I'm trying to learn and create, and I'm loving it.
I think people can identify with just how you're doing it, because you're keeping it simple. You're not being goofy about it or anything. You put a lot of thought into what you're doing.
But it's fun, and I never knew that I would ever enjoy doing such a thing. But in my mind, I thought, if there was the chance at all that he didn't make it, I wanted to make sure that we had video content of him laughing and smiling and positive things for his family to be able to look at forever. Generally, we never know when our time is going to be up. Few of us will ever know that we possibly have the end coming near, and we kind of take that for granted. I think all of us do. In my mind, it just made sense to have videos for his family to enjoy of him and his friends. He's got a lot of friends and family. And over the channel, he's gained a lot of friends and family. Our YouTube channel, we consider those family.
People ask about me a lot.
Exactly.
I see that on Facebook, and they're asking you, how's Gary doing?
And on the videos, on the comments and stuff. And I keep all the comments public, good, bad, or ugly. We've had our combination. I'm not doing it for sponsorships, and I'm not doing it for monetization of the 17 cents that I'm going to get for an ad. As a creator, it takes a tremendous amount of work. It takes a tremendous amount of hours. This is probably only like one of 2 videos that I've ever sat down in front of the camera and talked to it. I can't think of others that I have. Perhaps there's something else, but quite honestly, most of them are little bits of clips here and there that's all thrown together, but it takes time to do all that.
It takes a lot of time.
And I didn't even know what an editor was when I started, so it really took a long time to learn everything. But I at least wanted to get on here and tell everybody the reason why I started this channel, so people understand and kind of follow Gary. And recently, Joe has been in the vlogs with me because I was too afraid for Gary to hop on an airplane and go to Disney World or anything. Gary is ready to get back into the action and wants to be a part of it and wants to start living again. Because when your time is limited anyway, and then this basically quarantines you for about a year and you're stuck in your house, and occasionally you can go to the grocery store or something.
But I have other things. I mean, I like gardening.
That's hard to do in the Midwest in the winter.
We do a lot. Well, yeah, but then
when there's a couple feet of snow.
But I got my music, that I use to play on there too sometimes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I keep busy, and I do keep a nice, clean house as much as I can onto that, and because it's a lot of house. But I love it, and
bragger. So my channel was kind of an accident. It wasn't really a planned journey, for sure. But I think it was kind of a necessity, and it's been a fun journey.
Yeah.
And we hope to continue expanding it, and hopefully we can keep this going for a long time. Gary's doctors have been optimistic. He has to have yearly tests. He has to have ultrasounds. He has to have endoscopies. They have to look for varices, because with his disease, varices are, the way that I understand it, when they go down the esophagus, a varice is actually some sort of like a little bubble kind of thing that can burst, and he can bleed. And that's the way I understand it.
Yeah. I don't think they found any.
They've not found one yet, so that's been a blessing because that tells them the progress of the disease. And he's maintained, although we've had several incidents over the winter that I don't know how isolated they are. So we want to just continue getting back into the mix and enjoying, because we don't know really what's going on. We had a time that we thought at first that he fell, but then he later had an incident where he passed out and broke his foot in the process of the fall. And they never did figure out why he passed out. They have run test after test after test. No clue. We have seen, actually I should say, I have seen him do something that in my mind kind of reminds me of a seizure, but there's other parts of it that don't make sense as a seizure. Seizures, the way I understand it, is they know it's a seizure if you urinate on yourself, and he did not do that. A seizure, our English bulldog had seizures, and she would be incredibly confused for like an hour or two afterwards. She would just kind of wander aimlessly, and you almost had to isolate her because she couldn't stand, but her brain didn't know that she couldn't stand, so she kept trying and she kept falling, so we would have to kind of isolate her to protect her. He was totally aware of everything. As soon as he would come out of it, I would be going, Gary, Gary, Gary. And he'd go, what? But he totally looked like he was having a grand mal seizure, but it would only last for seconds. Joe was downstairs for one of them, and I hollered at Joe because I was in my office and Gary was up here in my office with me. And all of a sudden, his arm started flailing, his head went back, his legs, and dropped his phone. And Joe heard the phone drop to the floor and come running up the stairs. And by then, Gary had come out of it. Now, if you touch somebody having a seizure, they shouldn't come out of it just because you're touching them, is the way I understand it. And they kind of feel like there's possibly a medicine issue. So there's been some adjusting to his medicine routine to see if that will help eliminate some of the issues. What happens with Gary's illness is the ammonia builds up in his body and then he hallucinates. And so he has to take medicine to get the ammonia out of his body. So in the mornings, his mornings are pretty much taken up with that. He starts first thing he wakes up, and it usually takes till about 10:30 in the morning, 11 o'clock before that's over with. So when we go to the parks, we usually don't get to the parks until around noon when everybody's talking about the rope drop. We can't do that. No. Medicine keeps him alive, and that's maybe a little bit more important than rope drop. So we generally start our day about midday. I had one person that kind of prompted me to do this video that left me the most horrific, hateful, hurtful comment about how I was doing this for money. And Disney, people who love Disney would hate the way that I'm doing this because I've completely forgotten the meaning of what Disney is all about, and I'm doing it all about getting all of my money for my commercials and stuff. It's like, I've got 800 and some subscribers. There's no money.
None.
There's no money. I'm doing this for the love of it.
More going out than in, that's for sure.
Yeah, a lot of money goes out. Because we're doing it for the fun of it. We're doing it for the love of it. We're doing it for, we enjoy visiting with everybody. And we enjoy watching everybody else's videos. And, you know, it's been a lot of fun for us. But when you get somebody that makes a comment like that, it really makes you second guess whether or not you're doing the right thing. And I came very close to just stopping altogether, just stopping that day. I responded back to him and told him that my channel is not monetized. I've never received a dime for anything from anyone. I'm doing this for the love of it because my friend has a horrible illness and we don't know how long he's got. And my reason for all of my videos is for Gary, and it's not meant to offend anybody. That was never my purpose. I was shocked that I offended somebody that Joe and I had breakfast at the Riviera Resort. And he even, he even mocked the way that I spoke and how stupid I was because I couldn't even pronounce Riviera Resort. I don't understand the hurtful, hateful stuff. I don't get it.
No, there's always going to have to be one somewhere for some
But
reason.
I don't understand it.
You know, I don't understand it either. You know,
It's not necessary because, I mean, watching videos is optional. And, you know, we're doing this with good intentions. We're not doing this to try to rule the world or to offend anybody. We're doing this because we want to create content for Gary's family and friends. We want to create new friends on YouTube. We are thrilled with the new friends that we have. And Gary reads the comments.
Yeah, I do. And I think it's an encouragement for others that may have, you know, similar problems and just don't know what to do and feel lost. And I understand that, feeling lost. I didn't want to go that path. I wanted to be positive with it. And I said, I'm going to lick this. I mean, I said that from the start.
Well, there's no beating it.
There's no beating it, but you can deal with it. And, you know, try to live a normal life as much as you can. I have to pace myself, you know, and make sure I do take the things that I'm supposed to. You know, if I start feeling kind of funky, what I would call it, but very odd, then I know that maybe I got to get some water or, you know, just sit down, you know, and just take it easy, not try to overdo it. And so I try to be very, very cautious about this situation because it is serious. It's very serious.
It's very serious.
And
it's deadly. It's been a rough 3 years with his illness for sure. But I definitely wanted to make sure that we got on here. And there's just so many questions that I see come through. And I figure for all the ones that are asking me the questions, there's others that are thinking it and just don't ask it. So it was time to do a video that just basically explains the situation and why the channel started to begin with.
Really?
I at least wanted to get on here and just kind of explain why we started the channel and also let people know that Gary is doing well. His blood work has been, I guess, as normal as could be expected for the condition. His doctor says, you're in, what does he say? You're in great shape for the shape that you're in. Is that what it says? I can't remember.
It's pretty close to it. The guy is he's a clown. He really is. He's funny, and you know, I think I asked him, "Am I going to die?" And he goes, "Yeah." But then again, everybody's going to die sometime. You just don't know when it is. Live your life.
I figured I probably should do some of these updates occasionally just to let people know. Hopefully, those that want 100% Disney content 100% of the time are not offended when we occasionally do these updates because you have gained a lot of friends that have similar situation or have friends or family that have this condition. And I've actually a lot of subscribers came from the video that I did of his illness and the comments. If you've gone through something like this, in my mind, I kind of relate it to almost like a family member having cancer or something because you feel so helpless. Mm-hmm. You want to fix it, but you can't. And so you kind of look for answers because you don't know how to resolve the problem. And in my mind, it's kind of a similar situation to that because I did nothing but research nonstop, trying to find answers and
Yeah. She's been a Wonder Woman.
But they say the only cure is a transplant, a liver transplant. In the beginning, I asked his doctor, I said, I read that there is such thing as a live donor. Could I be a live donor? And he said, no, I wouldn't recommend it. And I said, why? And he said, have you seen the scars from it? And I go, like, I'm going to be a swimsuit model? What the hell do I care about a scar? I don't care. But he said we prefer a dead donor because of the complications that could possibly arise. Because if I donated part of my liver, it would regenerate over a period of time for him. And I even questioned, why couldn't they just lop off the bad, kind of like trimming a tree, was my analogy. As simplistic as that is. I said, why couldn't they just chop off the bad, and that way then the good could continue to grow? And he said, that's actually a great question. But he said the problem is his own body attacks his own body, and it'll continue attacking. So that's why he needs a new liver. But he said, we don't want to do a transplant until he's no longer benefiting from medicine.
Yeah, and what I have left.
And he has been responding well to medicine. But that being said, he still has a weakened immune system. So trying to keep him away from airports and Disney World and theme parks and just pretty much anything.
Yeah.
He pretty much comes here. That's about it. Because when you're told in the beginning that you might have 2 years, let's be real, that's pretty scary.
Yeah. The fluids is really an important factor onto that. But
the water constantly
the water
flushes toxins.
Yeah.
They say that's one of the most important things is drinking water. But he has to have drip coffee in the morning. He has to have at least 2 cups of drip coffee every single morning because that helps to flush out toxins that are in the liver. Drip coffee is good. It has to be drip coffee. It can't be instant. Has to be actual percolated coffee that he drinks every single morning, and that is great for liver patients.
Yep.
And his doctor stresses it every single visit.
Lately, I have some memory issues. Lately, I have some memory issues. And that's something we're trying to deal with on that. Because I could be told something and then
short-term memory.
Yeah, short-term memory. He
might repeat himself over and over within an hour, and then it'll dawn on me. I'll be like, Gary, how much water have you had recently? Because the toxins will build up, and he's got to flush that. So anybody out there who's watching this that has similar liver issues, I'm not a medical professional. I'm only telling you what we know based on his issues and what his doctor says. But percolated coffee in the morning, 2 to 3 cups is what he's told he has to have every single day, not instant. It has to be percolated.
It's such a sacrifice to make.
He has hazelnut. It's fine to have flavored coffees, but it has to be percolated. And then he has to drink lots and lots of water. And especially like in the summertime, if we're outside, he has to drink lots of water because the toxins will build up. And also, if he starts gaining weight, they are concerned about what's called ascites, and that's basically the toxins that's staying in his system. So if he gains weight, they don't know if it's ascites or if it's because you like Cheetos. But he's not allowed to have a whole lot of salt because salt will retain the fluids, and he needs to get those fluids out of his body. But he has to keep drinking water so he doesn't dehydrate because 2 of his medicines are what do they call it? Diuretics. So he has lots and lots of medicine.
So I don't need chips. I don't need things like this. You're going to have salt in anything. I mean, sodium is everything. Any type of
But
food.
you need to avoid it as much as possible.
As much as possible, or at least limit it. What you're having. The weight thing has been maintained for quite a while, and I'm at the weight that they want me to be.
Bragger. He doesn't have canned goods, or at least limited, because canned goods are super high sodium. So like vegetables and stuff, we try to go with the bagged vegetables that you either steam or they're just bagged so they don't have all the preservatives in them. He does not eat chips. There's just so much that you don't or cannot have.
And I don't miss that. I really don't.
I do. I need my Cheetos and chips.
Wasn't for Joe and Christine, I wouldn't be here right now because they took me under their wing, and the family appreciates them because she gives them updates on how I'm doing.
Don't make me cry. Shut up. Jerk. Dumbass.
Thank you very much.
There's been a lot of good come from it. I think that we've probably helped a lot of people when you're going through something like this, to have somebody who can relate to what you're going through. Yeah, that's big. That's a big deal.
And I want to be an example for others. Don't quit. Don't give up. I'm not ready to do anything like that.
No, you better not. Jerk.
I'm going to stick around for a
He's
while.
making me cry. I'm gonna kick his ass.
She's going to believe this. I know she is.
my god. Stop. Ugh. I don't even have a tissue. I probably got snot and sweat on my upper lip.
You can use my shirt.
Mm.
Ew.
Here, let me.
We do have a lot of fun together, so that's really great. And
It's
you
brought
gotta
our
laugh.
families together.
It does. It has. It has. My family appreciates everything that they do for me, and she gives them reports on me, or if there's something that's gone wrong or something like that, or they're always going to contact, my family. So
We are 3 years, a little over 3 years into the diagnosis at this point. They actually think he's had it for a very long time. It was just never diagnosed. It was actually misdiagnosed in the 80s. And had it been diagnosed proper, you wouldn't have cirrhosis and we wouldn't be here. But this definitely brought our families way closer. You don't know what you're capable of. You don't know where your life's going to take you, and life can change in an instant. So live for today, because tomorrow ain't promised.
that's right. Yep.
That's been my motto. I was a workaholic prior to this, and I have since decided that living a little bit instead of working 7 days a week needed to become a necessity, because I didn't want to wake up some morning and realize that everything had passed me by. Now we obsess on theme parks.
Yeah. She approached me one day and she goes, "So, tell me about Disney." Yeah.
Well, because I knew that you and your family had gone
Yeah,
many
we
times.
had gone many, many, many times. And, but yeah, she said, "Tell me about Disney." So I started telling her about Disney.
I don't know if I said it all breathy like that.
Oh, she said it breathier than that.
Tell me about Disney.
Yeah, I know they started this Disney thing, for me, but I think it's helped them a lot also to realize that there's other things that are out there, where you can have some fun with family and friends and so forth. And
Yeah, we really enjoy it.
you need there's one thing to work a lot. It's another thing to work a lot and then you have time for yourself to enjoy the things. Otherwise, they'll pass you by, and you'll always wonder, why didn't I try that? And
I've had to learn to balance that, because before, building a business was the only thing that I obsessed on, and I obsess on work. I am a workaholic. I've always been a workaholic.
She never stops.
And maybe that's why I'm working so hard to make the videos better and better all the time.
And you're really enjoying doing the videos.
I do. I really like it.
It's more than a hobby on there for you. And but you're telling a story, not just my story or anything like that, but you're telling a lot of different stories. You're covering a lot of different areas, and so
It's a lot of
really
fun.
opened you up.
It's a lot of fun. I was not bashful before, but when I first started with the camera, I was deathly afraid to speak to that camera and look at it. Good Lord, that wasn't going to happen. I mean, I literally posted these little clips of nothingness because I didn't have a clue. I didn't know what to do. And then I'd hear myself on the camera, like, oh my God, I sound like that. Oh, what am I going to do? I got to learn how to change my voice. I got to somehow change my voice. And eventually I finally realized this is me, and
It is. Not only that. So yeah, you don't need to change anything. You just got to be yourself.
hopefully this answers a lot of people's questions on what's going on, why we started the channel. Never judge a book by its cover, because you don't really understand the reason why somebody's doing something until you know the full story.
Yep.
I think that's it.
I think so. And thanks for a lot of your support out there too. Yeah, we
It's
do
helped
get
him through some major hard times.
I read comments all the
He
time.
reads everything.
I read the comments on there, and it's very encouraging to me, and I really appreciate that. I really do, because I know you're sincere about it, and you're concerned with it, and so I got wonderful people that take care of me. I got family that they kind of rely on her an awful lot, and then Joe to get the updates and things like this. But I still feel like I'm on that upswing right now. So,
Yeah, you've done well for quite a while.
Yeah.
And let's hope that continues.
Yes. I'm hoping that I can solve this issue with memory, but it's short-term memory more than anything else. But
It's
I'll
been
work on it.
frustrating for sure.
It's very frustrating for everybody, not just me.
But anyhow, if you're new to this channel, please hit that like and subscribe and ring bell notifications so you don't miss out on the latest videos. Also, please check out some of our other great videos we have on the Disney parks, the rides, resorts, resort rooms, Skyliner rides, day trips, car shows, outdoor pizza oven videos. We've got so many great videos I think you're going to love. Also, upcoming, hopefully, Universal Studios videos.
Yes, coming soon. Coming soon. We're working on it.
Thank you so much for watching.
Bye-bye.